What is up, ladies and gents? Let me make sure Crystal is on. I'm excited to share with you guys. Let's see here. Make sure we don't have no issues. There we go. Hey, you guys. Good evening. I am so excited to present to you today our first episode of In Your Business. Achieve It Business Solutions presents. So we are actually just waiting for Crystal to get on. Give us just a moment. But yes, I said I would make this happen. So many people come and ask for advice in business, and I thought, what is the best way to give advice? Maybe go to school, but when you learn from a business owner, that's the best advice right there. So Crystal will be on in just a minute. Oh, there she goes. Let's bring her in. I'm so excited. This is a lady right here. She's logging in right now, you guys. So be prepared for a great show. Chris,
Hey girl. Hey there.
Hi, my love.
how are
You know,
you?
I'm good. You know, I'm always on the go, and I'm on the way
Yeah,
to graduation parties and my niece's birthday party. So, but you got all of me. You got all my time, and you got all of me,
that's
girl.
okay. And that's perfect. Like you in your element is so perfect because that's what it's like. Being a serial entrepreneur, being a mother, having responsibilities, that's what it's all about. And
Right.
it's crazy because I just got into the office, same thing. Handling business, there's celebrations going on. So I completely understand. So, for those of you who are just getting on, this is the phenomenal Crystal, and she is Crystal Gant, and she is owner of Tooth Caviar. Um, for one, she is also, I mean, she does everything. I admire
Girl.
this woman so much. From the moment I met her, it has just been organic and real. And that's what I wanted to bring to you guys today. So, Crystal actually does not know the questions that I'm going to
And
ask.
that's what I'm nervous about.
The
No, I'm good.
last,
Like I told you, I'm an open book.
yes, she really is. And the last minute, I was like, you know
Oh,
what?
we
Let's
froze.
go ahead and, uh-oh, hold on, guys. I can still see you moving. Am I frozen?
You're good now. You're good.
Okay. So I was like, you know what? The best type of interviews is when it's just organic, comes straight from the heart. So that's what we're doing here today. And so again, thank you for taking time out. So, and along the way, you guys, everybody tuning in, if you have any questions for Crystal, um, you're starting a business, you want to ask her anything, go ahead and put it in the comments. And whatever we can do to help you along the way, we're all for it. So,
Yes,
Crystal,
I'm here.
when, when did you just become an entrepreneur? Like, when was that moment where you were like, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
Okay, so it wasn't just okay, so let me go back to the question. The question was, when did I decide? When did that moment
Yeah.
happen, right? To be honest, it was pressure, number one, of being the black sheep of my family, um, pressure of being a statistic because I have multiple children and multiple children's fathers, because I've been married twice. It was the pressures of that that made me, and then
Uh-oh, that might be me.
Are we live?
Oh, yes,
Okay. Okay,
yes.
because we kind of broke that for a second. Um, Missing my kids' events too. Their honor roll assembly, their perfect attendance assemblies, missing baseball game or not baseball games, football games, basketball games. It was all of the pressures that made me realize you got to do something. You have to do something.
Mhm.
And that something was okay, I have to be able to make my own hours. Um, and then dissecting that, okay, well, what is that going to take? But to be honest, like you said, serial entrepreneur, I've tried to do everything to give me that cushion. One thing that I realized in an early stage of my entrepreneurship is that I'm a servant. I love to serve people. I love to help people. Um, I love to, fix things. I'm a fixer.
Mhm.
Um, but that's where it kind of took place. I now in my entrepreneurship, I kind of what motivates me. I don't know if that's another question, but what kind of motivates me every day? Because as an entrepreneur, you can get burnt out
Yeah,
quickly, quickly
yeah,
burnt out. Um, but it's that do or die when I wake up every single day. It's like if I don't do this today, my family doesn't eat. If I don't
right.
do this today, people are going to talk about me regardless. So I might as well
Yeah,
give them something to talk about. And the best revenge is success.
yes,
So to be honest, it was really that the pressures of everything. I wanted to give better. I wanted to do better. I was tired of pleading my case with everybody. So I just said, I might as well just show them
right.
better than I could tell them.
Now, when you got to putting this into fruition, what feelings did you gain from, just having the freedom of making your own schedule? Your money is your motivation, basically. However motivated you are, that's how successful you're going to be. What
Right.
were like some feelings that maybe you had while you were working, for like corporate America versus becoming an entrepreneur? Like, what shift did you feel?
Well, I'm a Leo, number one.
Mhm.
So, and yes, I can. Being a leader is just within me. Yes, I can do great with constructive criticism. I can work with people. Um, you know, Management, I'm okay with that as well. But at some point, when somebody tells me when I can't go and spend time with my family, somebody tells me I can't. I have a problem with that. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, me being the problem solver that I am, what can I do to fix this problem? The only thing I'm going to be able to do is I got to do my own thing. But the
Right.
feelings behind that, to be honest, being in corporate America or working for somebody else, you're never going to have the freedom ever. Even
Yes.
if they promise you whatever, just as quick as they gave you that position, they will replace you. You are replaceable.
Yeah.
And I think that was another thing that was in my head always. I'm replaceable. They're not
Mhm.
going to care about me if something happened. There's been times when I've gotten into a really bad car accident and I worked for a staffing agency and they wanted me to come back to work in a couple of days. I had to
Mm.
learn to rewalk,
Wow.
so that it was those moments in my life, that just kind of like, no, I can't depend on this man to pay me what I feel like I deserve. I got to go
Mhm.
out and do it myself. Because
Right.
clearly there are wealthy people out there, right? Clearly there are
Yep.
people that are out there doing better than me. Maybe I should be having a conversation with them.
Right.
And I did.
Oh,
I surrounded myself. Yes. Who you surround yourself is so key to your
yes.
success as well. I reached out to
Yeah.
other entrepreneurs. I reached out to people that I would trade places with, not just financially, but their
Mhm.
core values with their family, with Christ, with God. If I would trade places with them, I was listening. I was all ears. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because if they were able to do it, I'm sure I can if I put my mind to it.
Mhm.
But, you know, other feelings that I felt, you know, the frustration, the anger, the disappointment, um,
So
tired.
I'm going to interject real quick. And
Okay.
one of the reasons why I chose as my first guest is because you are you're real. Like what you see is what you get. You know what I mean? And from the first conversation with you, you have been consistent with that. And that's one thing I really, truly appreciate about you. And so with you speaking on the frustration and things like that, I feel like there's a lot of times when people are ready to start a business, they got the talent, and they may listen to the positive side of business, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm going to make this money. I'm going to have the freedom of my own schedule." All those things. Does it start that way?
Right. No, because
And
sometimes, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, no, go. I was going to say, touch up on that. No, it doesn't. But go ahead
It
and
does
elaborate.
not. Trust me, oh, I can do this and I'm going to make money doing this and I'm going to make money doing that. The thought going into it is always, oh my God, it's going to be easy. Obviously, other people are doing it, so it's going to be easy. But nobody talks about the sleepless nights. The Are we still there? Uh-oh.
I'm,
Irene, you froze on me.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh no, I hope it's not me.
It might be, but I'm right here.
Okay, I hear you. There you go.
Okay. So the failure, the
The
anxiety, I think
failure,
that part was missed.
it is so real. The feeling of where you beat yourself up, um, where sometimes you're like, I don't think I can do this. Um, the blood, sweat, the tears.
Mhm.
You know, nobody talks about the ugly side. And then let's talk about the competition, right? Then it's like, then you start talking yourself out of it because you're like, oh no, it's too saturated. Oh no, it's this. Oh no, it's that. And I'm not going to be able to be successful now because everybody else is doing it.
Right.
Or you get angry because now you work so hard to build what you are building, and somebody goes and just copy and paste and makes it them.
You better say something. Okay,
Listen,
so we gotta touch more on that because I feel like that's with some of my clients. So, um, with some of my clients, what I realize is that not only the feelings that you spoke on, but there's a lot of times where people will stop. They'll stop because someone may, like you said, the copy and paste, someone may have done that or gleaned from their ideas. I've met individuals, clients of mine, who have shared secrets. Like they're so creative in their mindset that they're able to just have a one-on-one conversation with someone. Maybe it's a friend, maybe it's just someone in business who they resonate with, and that person will take the idea that they gave to them, which is great. Um, but then there's no like that paying homage or just saying thank you. You know, like when you launch a new product, if someone helped you to come up with that idea, just being able to say, you know, thank you to so and so, thank you to Crystal for helping me to know the ins and outs, and now I've started my own thing. So has that happened to you? We don't have to go into too many details, but obviously.
obviously. So, you know, it's especially when I went into now the beauty industry, which is something that I never thought I would be into. Um, but oh God, it's so cutthroat. And I'm just not that cutthroat when it comes to certain things. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, I feel like there's always money out there and there is enough money for everybody to eat.
Yes.
And, you know, it's at the same time, so without going into detail, me doing teeth whitening, um, you know, building my studio up and furnishing it and going into body sculpting and, some of my tips and tricks that I would do and say and show my clients. And then I got people, out there, their studios look like mine. And now their tips and tricks, they're saying that they're making it seem like it came from them. And what you're talking about is giving that credit. It's not necessarily that I want you to give me the credit, because I really don't care if you do or you don't. But
Right.
just, if you genuinely, that's just being a genuine person. If somebody genuinely taught you something and you appreciate that, show that appreciation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a word that I always use. I give credit where credit is due.
Yes. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's me again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I have a lot.
Uh-oh. Hey guys, you guys watching in, let me know if it's Crystal's side or my side. Okay. I hear you now.
Okay, we're out of the mountains. All right.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, you guys let me know if it's Crystal's side or my side. But perfect. We got you back. Let's go. So your life coach.
I'm here. Okay, so his name is Dan Charlier. He was in the insurance business. He's in the insurance business that I used to be in. And I learned so much about myself through him, because of him. And who I am today has a lot to do with him. A lot. And I will always be thankful for him, because he taught me how to think. He taught me how to be. And I'm always going to be thankful, but going back to those feelings, I used to be very angry when I would see people on social media, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are we really doing this? Did they really?
Right.
Can you hear me?
Right. And I completely because what you said about not needing the recognition, that is absolutely true, but like you said, when you're an appreciative person, you don't have to have a big display of appreciation, but just like even telling the person, I just appreciate your help. Now I've ventured on my own, because the type of individual that is very clear that you are is you do want to see everybody win. You are extremely supportive with people and what they are trying to accomplish. That's one of the things I admire so much about you, because since we've met, everything that I do, you support it. You share posts, and I think people also need to understand how important that is when you have a business that you also run through social media. A lot of times people don't realize how important it is to have a share. Now, we don't want to go out there begging people to share our posts, but that's how business grows. If you have a good service, or if it's someone you care about, and you just tag them when somebody is looking for the services that they offer, that means the world to us as entrepreneurs. And I want to let people know that, as you're starting a business, if anybody on this live is thinking about starting a business or has a business, make sure that as you're creating this, that you let the people know in your circle or surroundings, whoever you deal with, that's going to be an important aspect. People need to see that. And so in speaking on that, have you ever had someone that you felt like would be a big support system, And once you were creating all these businesses, you realized that they weren't as supportive as you thought or as you are to them.
Yes.
So what feelings, because this is what it's all about. Like, I really want people to understand the feelings involved, so that way when, not if you guys, but when you experience that, because there's not one entrepreneur I've ever talked to who hasn't experienced these things. Thank you, Tina. Tina said, beautiful ladies.
Oh, thank you, baby.
I want to address that. Like, what type of emotions did you feel going through that?
To be honest, that's part of the disappointment too. It just kind of like, it made you feel like you want to give up. You know, it's like, dang, I'm up against all of this, you know? Not only am I up against my competitors, but then it's like the people that you think are supposed to support you, and then they don't. But see, the thing is what I've learned, that disappointment is real. And then we want to get mad and we're like, why didn't you guys support me? How come you didn't support me? And I was that at one point. I was. And then I realized not everybody, to be honest, nobody owes you any support. Nobody owes you any loyalty. You owe it to yourself. So when you bet on yourself, and if people truly love you, if they truly love you, they're going to do it. If they, and then that's how you realize who is who. You're able to decipher and be able to point out, okay, so now, you know, and when people truly show you their true colors, believe them.
Ooh, you better
believe
say
them.
it.
Believe
you
them.
Better say it.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead. And so that's been me throughout my whole entrepreneurship. People have shown me their true colors, and I just mental notate, okay, cool. And there may be times, to be honest with you, even in my business currently, I can't even tell you how many people that came through my business, those people talked about me. Those people said ugly things about me. And some way, somehow, they ended up in my chair.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you do right and you're genuine and you do right by people, you know, that karma, that protection, God himself, he's going to make things right for you, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So don't ever put your business in the hands of somebody else. Meaning, oh, I'm not going to keep going and I'm not going to keep thriving in my business because so and so doesn't want to support me.
Right.
Nope. Because then there's going to be people like you, like me. We didn't know each other. Didn't know each other from night or day.
Right.
And girl, you got my like 120% support from me always. Right. Why? Because you do good by people. You're a genuinely good person. I can feel it. And I want to see you win. You got and then not just that, because of course we want to see everybody win. But when you come to the table and you really come to the table with some guns, you know what you're doing. You're professional. You're charismatic. I mean, you're everything that you can think of. That's what you are. And so it gives me even more of a reason to support you.
Right. And that's how I feel about you. And I'm looking at Tina's comment right now. Well, first, Laura said it's the closest ones to you that don't support you. And then right underneath it, Tina said that I'm sorry, it's now the messages are coming in. Tina said they don't know how to, because you switched up and bossed up. And I agree with both. I also think that there's levels to it, because there are those who genuinely love you and don't know how to support you because they don't know where you're at in your thinking. Your vision is only your vision. And so it's very hard for someone who doesn't have a vision, maybe they're used to being a worker bee, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as they're okay with it. But when you start bossing up, your mindset changes. You know, it turns into a way different type of thinking for you. And so there are a lot of people who genuinely just don't know how to. But then we're talking about the ones too who are aware, like something inside of them has turned ugly. And maybe it was always there, you know, maybe it was just things that we kind of ignored or something like that. But when you start and they become that competitive side, um, a lot of people are aware of their competitive side. They may not know why I'm like this or anything, but for you, have you found like close people to you that maybe showed that competitive side and you had to create a distance between yourselves so that you find peace?
Yes.
Okay.
And whether that would be just no longer really associating with them, unfollowing them, because I didn't want to constantly see it in my face, you know, um, it because I'm human. I'm
Mm-hmm.
human. And there may be days where it may be a bad and off day for me, and I just may come across a story and I'm like, oh, look at here. What do we have here? You know, and so, yes, for my peace, and something that I always tell myself, this helps me a lot. Just because somebody mimics me and duplicates me does not mean that they're going to be even more successful than me, because what is for me is going to be for me, and what is
Yes.
for them is going to be for them. But if they're coming from a place and their intentions are not pure, baby, that is not going to last very long.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
not.
you for saying that. Absolutely. And that's a good point for people to understand, because what will happen is when you're doing something good, guys, when you're gaining traction, when there's satisfied clients, people are going to be like, "Oh, I want to do that." That's the bud of business, if you will. The bud being, you water it, it grows a flower bud. That's the whole point of business. So of course, there's nothing wrong with that to an extent. But like Crystal was saying, if your intentions behind it aren't pure, are malicious, there's no way that you can grow fruit in in uneven, rocky, soiled ground. You know, it
That's
has
right.
to be watered correctly. It has to be nurtured. So you can't skip steps. When you see somebody, when people see where you're at now, Crystal, some people don't realize what it's taken to go through that.
Right.
You've been through taking care of children. I mean, kind of tell people like what were some of the sacrifices? Because we talked about some good things about business. We talked about the feelings that you had going through your business so far. What were some of the like blatant sacrifices that you had to make so far in being an entrepreneur?
To be honest, time. So that's one thing that people, when they go into entrepreneurship, they kind of like, oh, I'm going to make my own schedule at this point, right? Wrong.
Right.
So it doesn't just happen overnight like that. You have to build it to happen like that way, right? And sometimes it may take time. I know in the beginning when I first got into this industry, um, I was doing a lot of sacrificing as far as I was accommodating people's schedules. I was accommodating their schedule versus them accommodating to mine. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm dead tired and I feel like I'm just running on fumes and I'm working and taking care of kids, mind you, 9 kids at home, that's not, it's a circus. You see what I'm saying? So, and trying to balance all of that, there was a point where even my body wanted to shut down. My body was
Mm-hmm.
like, sit down now before I make you. And you listen to your body, but the time, there's times where I was out at 12 o'clock at night, coming from a mobile service, or there was one time 2:30 in the morning. It was a lawyer that wanted her services done at a hotel room before a funeral the next day, and it's those sacrifices because you want to build your clientele, you want to build your business. I could have been like, girl, boo, like, I'm sorry,
Right.
I'm
Right.
asleep at that time. But you have to, in order to build something successful, you're gonna, that's what I mean by those blood, sweat, and tears. When you're
Right.
not going to want to do something, you still do it anyways. Because if you were on the other end, if you were the customer, how would you want somebody to treat you?
Mhm.
So that kind of drove me. But time was my biggest one, especially in the beginning. Um, and it's still not all the way there. You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? I still don't have, I have more leverage now, but I still don't truly make my own schedule.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When it gets to the point to where I have a huge location and I have people working for me, that's when my time and my money is working for me. And
Right.
then I have an open schedule.
Absolutely. I
But I would say
resonate
that
with
was
that.
might be my biggest and my main one.
Okay. And that's good because, like you said, most people go into entrepreneurship thinking, oh, I got freedom. But they're hearing that from gurus who have been in the game for years, who have created, um, you know, automation systems to handle a lot of things for them, who have created a workforce underneath them, management, things like that. So
Right.
it's really important for you guys out there to understand that before you reach that level of having freedom of time, you're actually going to work harder than you would at a 9 to 5 because you
Absolutely.
wear all hats, right? Crystal, you've been, the one taking the phone calls. You've been the one setting the appointments. You've been the one doing the work. You've been the one managing the money, being the accountant. So you've had to whereas when you work for an employer, you have a specific job. You usually can clock out, whatever time that you're set to get off, if it's 5 o'clock, and you know that money is going to be there between a week or 2 weeks, however you get
Right.
paid. Teachers a month. Um, what is it like? Like, tell us about a time. I know whether it's in the beginning, whatever, about a time where um, like you were broke. Like, you know what I mean? From putting in to your
Girl.
because I know. And like tell us about a specific time if you could think of where you're like, I am not making money off this. Like, why am I doing this?
I'm going to give you a very, very, very specific one. So being that, again, being in the beauty industry, I used to do pop-ups, right? And I would do pop-ups in Los Angeles. Now, mind you, my clientele and how I got my clientele, again, just pure organic and just good karma, right? A famous TikToker came into our location and then it boomed from there. And so she was like, you need to go out to LA. I got too many people out there that need this service and you're affordable, right? So, okay, I decided to do a pop up out there. And mind you, I'm still charging my, $99. Didn't even think about gas. Didn't even think about the Airbnb that I'm going to have to pay for. And I'm paying over $1,000 for a weekend in Los Angeles. And I remember the first time I went, I maybe had like 7 clients, but I only went out there. No, I had 11. I'm sorry. The first time I went out there, I had 11 clients, but I only had 3 booked.
Mm,
So I literally just went out on faith. It was
mhm.
just all faith. And, but I remember the second time I went out there, I'm just kind of like, okay, listen, now that I'm kind of going over these books here, we're really not coming out with more than what we're spending.
Right.
Right? So, but guess what? In the midst of that, I found the positive side to it. I was able to build relationships with people in the music industry. I was able, producers, people in film, and these people are still seeking me.
Yes.
When are you coming? When are you coming? So sometimes it may suck to be like, oh, look, this isn't working out. I'm not making the money for it. But you never know the blessing in the middle or where you can't see it. You maybe not be able to see it right then and there. Um, but again, if your intentions are pure,
Right.
It'll all work itself out. And so that's why I say, you know, I'm going to come back out to LA. I'm going to do my pop-ups because again, these people are messaging me on my social media, like, and people told me, why don't you raise your prices? So that way you can, you know, at least make some money out there. But that's just not, I can, and they can afford it. I just don't want to.
Right.
I,
Thank you for touching on that, because what it sounds like is for you, your conscience, it levels out right there. Whereas if you raise it, your conscience feels different. And I want to point that out to you guys out there listening. Someone who's not doing what you do, hey, I can see that beautiful
there
face.
we go. It's getting a little dark out here.
Right. Someone out there who is starting a business, you're going to have, it's like when you have a child, you have everybody telling you how you should run your business, what you need to be charging, what you don't need to accept and do need to. But yet these individuals may not be successful business owners. So it's the same thing as someone trying to tell you how to be a millionaire who isn't a millionaire. Why would you listen to them? Even if they have read all the books on how to be a millionaire, it's called applied knowledge. And if they have not applied it and made it happen for themselves, then that's not who you need to be getting advice from. So for those out there who, like you said, raising your prices, because I personally in my business, I had that struggle a lot. I was lowballing myself. Now, through doing all the research and learning what's the average price, what I do for my clients, even if I raise my prices, they're still going to get way more than they bargained for. And that's
Right.
what you do for your clients. I mean, the conversation, I'm one of her clients, y'all. And even though my pearlies aren't as pearly because I drink coffee, they are still beautiful. I always get compliments on my gems on my teeth and my teeth. And that's all thanks to Crystal and her beautiful daughter, Jewel. She truly is a jewel. Her name is so fitting. But it's just amazing that you keep that leveled, and that to me is why you receive the blessings that you do. You're not doing it for greed. You're doing it,
Right.
and like, I can say outside looking in, I feel like you're doing it for these great reasons. But why don't you tell us, like, thank you, Danny. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm all into the comment. I'm going to try to
I know,
make
I
sure
haven't
that
even
I pay
seen none of these
attention.
comments.
We're going to pay more attention to these comments, guys, because we definitely appreciate it. And real quick, thank you, every single person who has been logged in, listening right now. These are just like gems that we just want to put out there for you guys to know, like the ins and outs of what you're getting into if you decide to go into a business, or if you are actually in business right now. And you can always learn from different entrepreneurs. So for you, Crystal, what is your why? What's your why?
Obviously my kids, and I know that sounds very cliche. Oh, everybody says your why is your kids, but it truly is. I come from a background. I've gotten to, before I go there, I've gotten to a point where I just no longer am going to settle. I just realized, you know what? I'm just not settling no more. And because I realized I don't have to.
You don't have to.
I don't have to settle. What? So it is my kids. I want something complete. I am bridging a gap for my generation, my family that I'm creating. We don't have entrepreneurs in my family. We don't come from higher education. We don't come from, we barely know how to communicate with one another. You know what I mean? So when I say my kids, I want them to see you also. Your mom is a prime example. You don't have to settle for nothing. You want something, you go after it. Not just that, of course, the financial aspect. I want to be able, I'm covered. My kids are covered with life insurance. Life insurance, y'all need that. But
Yes.
That's a totally different topic. But, you know, the financial aspect, I want to be, never in my life did I think that I would be able to gift my daughter for her 16th birthday a vehicle. Never. You know what I mean? I think of my grandchildren, what kind of life are they going to have? Because boy, your grandma, not right now. Hold on. Went through it. I went
Right.
through it. I had no support, even when I was a single mother and I was doing, what I had to do with 5 kids at that point. There's times I didn't have no family support. Nobody can babysit my kids. There's times where my kids were babysitting each other. You know what I mean? I've been through it. I've done it all. And so that's my why. I don't want my kids to grow up struggling anymore. And I don't want my grandkids to struggle at all.
Right.
I want them to know that just because you came from a certain type of family or you come from a certain type of place, that is not your final destination.
Right.
It's not. You can make life whatever you want it to be. So they are my true whys. The second one, I have 2. I walk with a chip on my shoulder. Okay. Some people may call it cockiness. It's not really cockiness. Again, I was always that one that they would say, don't hang around Crystal. She's a bad influence. And I really wasn't. Don't, she's this or she's that. People always had, even since I was a little girl, always had something negative to say about me. So in business, one thing that I really take to heart is success is the best revenge. And not only is it paying me, guess what? My haters are paying me too.
Right. That part.
The ones that y'all was talking about, you think I don't remember, but I do. And guess what? You cutting me some money. And I appreciate that. Thank you. But and even if people still had things to say about me, but at least one thing that they can say is, man, she got all them kids, but she takes care of them. She's doing what she does. She's doing what she has to do. And not only that, it humbles me. To be honest, my kids see me one way and my fiance, he sees me, Riley sees me another way, and my family may see me another way. But then I have those people behind the screen, the women that hit me in my inbox. How do you do it? You're an inspiration. I've been watching you from the beginning. Yes. I've been watching all of your transitions. Do you not know that gives me so much fuel? You guys are my why.
Yes, that part, right? Look, Crystal, when I tell you I get the chills, right? Yes. When I tell you that, you hit that so on point, because I am so sure you just said it in the beginning. You didn't expect to be doing what you're doing now.
No.
I just had that same conversation with my best gal pal in North Carolina. I said, I did not expect to be a business coach, to be a resume writer, to be a tax specialist. I wanted to do makeup for the stars or be an elementary school teacher. That was it. I was like, that's what I want to do. And somehow what God does for you is he still gives you so many of your wants, but absolutely your needs. And absolutely. So I told her I never would have imagined that you're so welcome, Gwen. I never would have imagined the feeling that I feel when people tell just what you said, hit you in your inbox, and I'm like, you spoke life to me. I watched a video and it touched my heart, and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do in my life. Those type of things is what brings tears, because we don't know as individuals all the time how much power our example is for people. Right. And so when you are a genuinely good person, you can't hide that if you wanted to. And that's who I personally used to be. I used to try to hide because the attention that I would get, I didn't want it, So right. Now you have embraced just fully who you are. people love who you are, the ones who genuinely know you. And unfortunately, there are going to be those out there who have a bad experience because maybe their intent was not pure. And so
Right.
when people come at you that way, they're going to have something to say. And one thing I've always noticed is the people who try to get one over on you, those out there who secretly envy you, things like that. Those are usually, you usually can figure out who they are because those are the
Right.
ones who have your name in their mouth. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
it's unfortunate that we live in a society that will not allow you to celebrate um, mostly another woman's success, another woman's beauty, another woman's drive, another woman's motherhood, regardless of how many children you have. Like you said, you take care of each and every one of them. You're not out here letting, grandparents raise them. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that need that help because of whatever, because they're fortunate enough to have that help. But
Right.
I'm specifically talking about the people who neglect their responsibilities. You're not doing that. So there's no reason why anyone should actually be saying those things, but they do. And so for you, what do you help? I know, like you said, people, women, people have reached out to you. What are some of the things that you do to talk life into an individual?
There's nothing specific other than be real and honest, to be honest. I don't,
Mhm.
I don't know how to put that, but one thing that I've realized before even trying to give somebody advice, I've learned people. I've learned, um, I just learned people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And how people are and how humans are. And, sometimes being able to speak for them what they don't want to say, or again, just being brutally honest with them with of course with respect. That's one thing this whole entire world lacks.
Mm, yes.
It just lacks. It just lacks it. Nobody wants to be completely honest because they're scared of backlash. They're scared of what somebody's going to think of them. They're scared. They're people pleasing. I've stepped out of that. I am not a people pleaser. If you're asking me a question, the only thing I can give you is my true, honest, raw, uncut advice
Yes.
based on my experience. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. And just honesty in itself, like I said, that just goes a long way. A lot of times people will say, I'm real, I'm just real. Half the time they're not,
Right.
you know. Um, it's like I said, it's just my life. It's just my life experience. People will ask me, I have 5 kids. How do you manage to do? You just do it. You don't think about, yes, you're going to have all these other thoughts in your head that may try to talk. We are, as humans, we are great at talking ourselves out of things.
Yes.
We don't realize it, but we do. And so when people start talking to me and I can detect that, hey, you're trying to talk yourself out of something, right?
Hmm.
Bringing that to light and bringing that, and they're just kind of like, oh, wow, she noticed that. So it's, to be honest, like I said, we tend to talk ourselves out of things, or you know what, maybe it's not meant for me. Maybe it is meant for you, but you just got to go a little bit harder.
Right. That part. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just the honesty part.
Right. And that's so appreciated. And just to touch on what you said, it's actually a psychological thing that is input in our bodies that when we do something new and fear strikes us, that fear is a natural response. It's something that was put inside of us because
Correct.
we're literally supposed to follow that fear. And where the uncomfort and where the growth happens is when you push past that. What happens when you are working on losing weight? When a person works on losing weight, they got to put in hard work. And it doesn't necessarily feel good, but it kind of
Right.
does. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this was a good workout. But the end result is the most important part to most people in their mind. But the true reality of that is that every little piece of that should count. Every
Right.
single piece. Because you cannot get to the end result unless you have those little results in between. And that's the part that so many people fail to realize. They want the very end. I want to, I want that 100 pounds off right now. I want this business to be a multi-millionaire business right now. And they don't have the patience to put in the work. How long have you been an entrepreneur?
Well, for a full year now, but the entrepreneurship started back in 2009.
That
I had a clothing store. So that's when it started. I always loved, I think the entrepreneurship also came because I love a challenge.
Yes.
I just love a challenge. And so, and when people doubt me, when people were doubting me then, it's just kind of like, okay, you want me to
Right.
show you? Don't ever underestimate me.
Right.
So, and then it just took off. And then when you realize everywhere that I went in my entrepreneurship, I left something to individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't forget that.
Yes.
People will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
And when I started realizing it's not just feedback from what I'm doing now. I mean, even back then, like, hey, when are you going to open up another clothing store? Like, we loved your style. We loved your taste. I just realized that just sometimes, because I'm not going to lie, depression is real too when you're going through entrepreneurship. It is very real. And when you get those messages where you see that somebody is rooting for me, somebody cares about me, it's like, you know what? I got you. Let me dust this mess off.
Yes.
Let me give you what you want.
Yes.
So, yeah, entrepreneurship. It's been off and on since 2009, but now for a full year straight.
Okay. And that's the part people need to understand. They may have seen this, like people on right now may have seen this business and where it's been like she's been on for a year and this is where she's at. No. When you are an entrepreneur, it does not happen overnight. The brain that you have is not, it just doesn't change overnight. It's a development. And anything that is great, even diamonds have to be mined for, they have to be, cleaned off, they have to do all those things. But
Put
when
under
the end
pressure.
result is beautiful.
Right.
And it's so beautiful that most of the time, as long as you chip a little bit away, you can see a shine come through. When people diamond mine and they're like, there it is, let me get to it. So it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with any type of self-development or any type of development. It's going to take time. And I just want to continue to stress that because the part where most things that are called fails are actually learning lessons. It's only a fail if you quit, then it truly is a fail. But if you work through it, you've learned something. Whether
Right.
you've learned how to set healthy boundaries, whether you've learned how to price correctly for your time, like you said, for your time and what you put into it, it's still a learning lesson as long as you allow it to be. So for you, we got about 6 minutes left. And
I know, look at this. It's getting so dark out here. I'm trying to survive on 3 lights in this car. It's okay. We're going to make it. We're going to make it work.
Right. So for you, let me ask you this part.
Okay.
Who throughout, since like 2009, if you have somebody, who do you want to shout out right now as being like a genuine, like full-fledged supporter of you, Crystal?
Oh, honestly, well, I do have this right here of
Mhm.
actual friends. All of my supporters have not been anything close to me.
Mhm.
So no, not the family, and not what I thought was friends. It was all just random people. Them, I want to shout them out. I want to shout them out for
Yes.
just being real, just being real. They see another woman striving and trying to survive, and they can either relate in some way, some shape or form, and they're just like, I support you. I support you.
Mhm.
There's a couple of, but besides these, okay, I'll do this. So I have these ones right here. And you know what? These ones right here, they didn't come from my youth or my my school friends or anything like that. No. These were all just either Facebook friends that turned into friends or clients that turned into friends.
Yes.
And it's like it's a beautiful thing. I love genuine people. You guys have no idea how much I love it. Same like with you, it's very hard to find those rare people. And when you find them, hold on to them tight
Yes.
because there's
Yeah.
very, very few left. But to be honest, it's not friends. It's not any, friends or certain family members that, because to be honest, strangers came in before my own family did.
Mhm.
You see
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So it would be them. It would be my Facebook friends that I had no idea who they were until I met them in person, or just clients that just found me and sought out my service because they thought I did a good job. And people like yourself, again, clients that turn into friends, and I'm forever thankful for that.
Yes.
Forever.
Yes. And what you said, Crystal, I just want to reiterate that when you find good people out there, please, whether you have toxic traits that prevent you from, whether you have toxic traits or you've experienced toxic traits, and it prevents you from uh, getting close to people because you're scared of being vulnerable and being hurt. When you find genuinely good people out there, don't let them go
Right.
because those people are probably the people, not probably, those people are the people. When you were saying your prayers, I want to be surrounded by somebody who genuinely cares for me. God, please put somebody in my life that's going to actually love me for me. Those are the people that are being, or those people prayed. Those people probably prayed for you. Somebody that they can see that, just like what Crystal said, some of us have a healing personality and we just want to help people. And sometimes in life that has gotten in the way of growth because you're helping the wrong people. You're helping family members that you just want to hold on to because the same blood runs in your veins. But those might not be the people for you. So when you find good people, when you find people out there who genuinely support you, they don't ever ask you for a discount. If you give a discount, you give it
It's
willingly.
from you. Yep.
Yes, but they're always willing to pay you with what your worth is. You stay with those people because those people right there are the ones that are meant to be in your life.
And
And
I just, not to cut you
yeah,
off,
go
but
ahead.
before I forget something, I want to just kind of piggyback on that. When you said, either you prayed or they prayed, us as healers, us as fixers, there's times where we will give our last bit of energy to somebody because that's just what we do. And where are we going to get filled from? Who's going to
Right.
pour into us? Who's going to plug in aside from God? But who's going to plug into us? We're sitting here plugging our outlet into everybody else to refuel them and give them a charge and give them some motivation and give them some peace of mind, or just that genuine love, you know? But then where do we get it from? And so when
Mhm.
it comes to people like you, and it comes to my little bunch right here, I love you guys. I
Mhm.
love you guys because just when I need you to plug into me, I don't have to ask you. You just do it. And it feels so good. And
Yeah.
that's what makes the appreciation even more, because it's like, man, I've lacked this for so many years. I've
Yeah.
always given to everybody else, and nobody's plugged into me like this. This
Right.
is what it feels like. Oh, I'm
Yes.
running with it.
Right.
Appreciate those ones.
Yes. And you know what, guys? If you don't look, Crystal, give us 5 more minutes, okay? I know you got something to do, but we need 5 more minutes of your
I
time.
got you. I got you. I
This
haven't read
is,
any of these comments. I'm so sorry, you guys.
I know you guys, and we listen. We have so much meat to give to you guys, and so much just to share with you about experiences. So please forgive us for that, but we will go through these comments and comment back to you guys. But for you, and what you were just speaking on, um, what do you, because you said there was a point like where you were angry, right? You were angry at
Hmm.
the things going on with you, or the lack of appreciation also. What helped you besides just saying, you know what, I'm not going to deal with this, or those things? What is some actions that you took to help you to, not take those things so personal?
To be honest with you, it's two things. One was my company, the company that I keep, right?
Yes.
Two, it was me being able to be vulnerable, me being able to be me being able to communicate those things, and me being able to be okay with the honest truth.
Did you
Whatever
guys
some,
hear that?
I mean, that's it.
Because, see, I had paused on that, but you took the words right out my mouth. I need you guys to understand how important vulnerability is. And if you
Mm,
don't know, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a Netflix special with Brene Brown. She's a psychologist. If you have not seen it, watch it. It will change your outlook on what love truly is. And what love truly is being able to be authentic and vulnerable with people. And what that means is you're so vulnerable that you're willing to be hurt. If your truth is so important, you're willing to be hurt. You don't want to, but you never know who's going to hurt you. The people you've trusted most have done the most wrong half the time, or 75% of the time. So being vulnerable means no matter how much um, this may bother someone, if I tell them, hey, you hurt my feelings by saying that, I'm not going to hold it in. I'm going to let them know so they have an opportunity to fix it. So they have an
absolutely.
opportunity to actually know who I am. And I may be as people have said in the past, a sensitive person, but being sensitive doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you aware. So vulnerability, if that's something that anybody on this feed right now, if there's anything you take away, anything, work on your vulnerability, because there's people out there that need to know the real you. Each one of us was blessed differently to be a different person and have different gifts. And when you're able to show people truly who you are, that's when they can love you the greatest. So I really appreciate you touching on that. Okay, we got 1 minute, y'all. Crystal,
Yes.
what advice, if it anything, um, what is something that you can give to those out there listening today?
Just kind of everything that we touch, to be honest. A lot of people deal with humans, us as humans, we deal with pride a lot. Um, Learn to kind of just, and the other thing, the pain, the growing pains, when you step out of your element, when people say, oh, this is me, this is how I always am, and this is how I'm always going to be, and if they don't like it, oh well. To be honest with you, that is not even who you are.
Right.
That's not who
That's
you
her.
are. If we were to take a few of those, peel a couple of those layers back, baby, I can guarantee you're probably the softest thing walking.
Right.
That is, you're not even in tune with yourself.
Right.
My biggest thing my advice would be is learn you, be in tune with yourself, seek sound advice, not
Yes.
from, your girlfriend that you've had for, 20 years or 15 years that is, you wouldn't switch places with her. I'll
Right.
put it that way. Um, Sound advice as far as, look, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to become. Being able to be vulnerable, that is so key to success because, oh
Mhm.
no, hold on, the devil is a lie.
Okay.
Hold on,
You ain't taking her shine.
listen, we back.
Right.
To be honest, letting pride go, pride and success, they don't mix. It's like oil and
Yes.
water. It is. And when you come from a good place, when you come from a genuine place, pride is nowhere going to be involved. Your blessings are going to be abundant. So communication is key. I urge people to learn to try to communicate, listen to understand, don't listen to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very, very, everybody's always, I want the last word. No, listen to what somebody's telling you because they may really tell you a whole lot if you're really listening.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you're going into entrepreneurship, find out who you are. If you're a servant, if you're a healer, what your passion is deep down inside, because we were all born with gifts. God gave us gifts. He didn't just allow us to come into this world to just here work and get old and die and that's it. No, he put us on this earth and in this world for a reason. Find
Yes.
it. Find it,
Right.
and I guarantee you'll be successful.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you
You're welcome.
so much. And real quick, guys, here's what I tell my potential clients. So I'm going to give this to you. Just what Crystal said, find out what you're meant to do. Go take a Myers-Briggs 16 personalities test. There's some people out here, so you might hear a little noise.
I know you
Take
can
a
hear music in my
personality
background.
test. If you take that personality test, it will help clarify exactly who you are, where your strengths lie, as well as where you may need to work on yourself. But be sure to do that, you guys. It's super important because most people don't know themselves. They don't. And so they're learning. And that's really important that you learn who you are before you try to create something that's going to be tied to you. It's going to be
Correct.
tied to you. Your business is a part of who you are. So, Crystal, thank you so much.
It was
Busy
an
woman that
honor.
you are. Thank you so much for being my very first guest
It was an
on
honor.
the In Your Business show. Achievement Business Solutions presents. And you guys, catch every Friday at 7 o'clock. We will have different entrepreneurs on to tell you their experiences, their whys, their why not, and what you need to do to have a different mindset. So you guys make sure, Crystal, what's your, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Well, they can find me on Facebook. That is my personal Facebook, but it's also business. It's whatever you want it to be. Okay. So Crystal Gant on Facebook, and then on Instagram for my business page, you can find me at Tooth Caviar, and it's TOOTHKAVIAR, Tooth Caviar. And then also my personal Instagram is at thereal.crystal, KRYSTAL.
Perfect. And for those of you out there who may be logged in from because you know Crystal, you guys can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. So Facebook is at Irene Wilkins,
And then also at Achieve It, it's spelled ACHIEVET business. And then also Instagram, Achieve It Business. And I also have a website, www.achieveitbusiness.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thank you. I love you guys
love you.
all. I love you. I love you. I love you.
And you guys have an amazing night. And we'll see you next Friday, 7 o'clock in your business. Achieve It Business Solutions. Have a great night, guys.
Good night.